Good evening, and welcome to another horrific review. I'm joined once again by Steve as we continue our look into the Amicus series of anthology films. Tonight we're looking at The Vault of Horror, released in 1973. The story follows a group of 5 strangers who find themselves together in a lift. They are brought to a strange room with no way to return. Deciding to make the best of the situation, they gather and recount a series of strange dreams that they're all been experiencing. Yeah, that's the premise, and I think that's about as much sense as this is going to make.
Yeah,
An interesting one, this.
It's a shame because I do love these films with little stories in them, Tales of the Crypt and various other ones that have come out, and it's just a shame that this one probably didn't live up to the remit of what it was trying to achieve.
Yeah. Now these were all directly adapted from Tales of the Crypt comic. You know, the original comic that the show was born from in the 80s that came out. So this is like the first attempt to translate that material. And what was the other one? Suspense Stories.
Yeah.
So one of the stories. So these were the comics. I'd love to get hold of those again.
Yeah. And
I've been looking for horror comics, and there's nothing out there really.
I remember in Plymouth there used to be a comic shop up in the old Drake Circus thing, and you could get anything in there, and if you couldn't get it, he'd try and get it for you. But when they knocked down the old Drake Circus to build a new one, he didn't come back. So it's a shame, really. But yeah, I mean, these adaptations are usually quite good. But I was worried about this one from the start. When the lift takes all 5 blokes down to the bottom, and suddenly it turns into 4 blokes, and then the next panning comes around, and there's 1 bloke in the doorway of the lift that had just closed, and then they all sit around the table, and then they pan from the top, and they're all sat in different positions to how they were when they went around. And I was going,
it was a mess. Even at the start, like, what is going on here? Yeah, I was just looking at this from a storytelling perspective as usual, and like, I don't know, 5 strangers that just automatically open up to each other. Oh, let me tell you my deepest, darkest fears, Mr. Stranger I've just met in the lift. Not very British, is it?
No, but then if you're sent down to somewhere like that vault, you wouldn't sit there and go, "Oh no, we'll ever sit down and have a drink." You'd say, "Hey, I've got to get to work here. Let's try and get in this lift." It just sort of went, "Oh yeah, oh look, drink. I know, we'll all sit down and have a drink." So I mean, you did get the gist of it come the end, but it's,
at the start it just confuses you because you're like, yeah, that's if this is a club or a bar, you wouldn't just walk in. Like, I've been in many social clubs, etc., and the bartenders haven't been around. You just don't reach over and start helping yourself to the pumps. It's what I mean. That's just going to lead to disaster. I think as well, because of the whole premise of this series or this anthology, they're trying to make them all out to be bad people, so automatically their behavior is just over the top.
Yeah.
Is this like them trying to be? I know the Americans, like the New York Times and stuff, absolutely panned this. I mean, they were insulted by the existence of this anthology, which is a bit strange, the reaction. But Variety as well and other publications at the time just went mad, as if, how dare you make this anthology so badly, or what? I don't know what I don't get that reaction to it. It's a bit strange.
Because I don't think if you noticed, but in their dreams, they were wearing the same clothes that they were wearing
sitting in the table
in the vault. But again, that could have been because at the end he was saying, "Oh, we got to go through this sort of rigmarole every time," because they were. I took it that they were ghosts, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
But that could have been why they were. But I don't know. If it was in their dreams, did they actually do it?
And that's where I was forgiving. I'll be honest. Because of the premise, so you've got 5 people. They're in a lift as if they're all in a apparently this is filmed in a bank building,
Yeah.
so they use that. But as if they're in a high rise, going to different departments, they don't know each other, they don't work together. So it's all that they're sharing various floors, so they've nothing in common.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, who pressed what was it, Underground One or something? Who pressed that? Not me, not me.
Sub basement, wasn't it?
Sub basement, yeah, something like that. Kind of get that and then put together, but
Yeah.
just the way they go. Oh right, we're here now. Well, we'll just
Have a drink.
yeah, 9 o'clock in the morning. Sure, that's what you do. I know
Yeah.
there's stereotypes of bankers and the central London yuppie types and all, but this was in the 70s, and
Yeah.
yeah, God, I hate the way TV do that. What was the worst? The worst thing was Peaky Blinders. You know,
Yeah.
every 3 seconds they're knocking things. They'd be sozzled, like they'd actually smell. You know what I mean? The way they portray drinking at times in
Yeah.
TV and film, you'd be actually coming out of your pores. I mean, um, you wouldn't be compos mentis.
No, that's right.
Actually, there's another example. James Bond. When you actually take Ian Fleming's books,
Yeah.
and there was a study done of how much he drunk, throughout the books.
Yeah, he'd have a
And this
bad
isn't counting the times in between. He was effectively a functioning alcoholic,
Yeah.
and he wouldn't be a spy for a start because and he wouldn't be bedding women because nothing would work. Because at that, when they calculated out that level of alcohol abuse, because that's all it is. It's not even indulgent. If you're taking that much all the time, you're
Yeah.
you're a shell of a person. So this whole thing, like 9 o'clock in the morning, like you can have an entire bar at
Yeah.
9 o'clock in the morning, and that's the last thing you're thinking of, unless
Yeah.
you've got a problem.
Yeah, especially if they were sort of on their way to work. Why
Yeah,
would you?
wouldn't even
I don't know. I'll have a drink instead of trying to get to.
not freaking out or worrying about contacting the office. Well, just no, okay, well, we'll just sit down and have. So it starts off strangely, and you're like, well, something's not right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think it was done deliberately or laziness?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Before private.
Because I do get a whole sort of thrown together feel for this anthology.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it could have been a good thing. And, 5 blokes stuck in a lift going down to a room. If it was done today, it would have all the features of a M. Night Shyamalan film, wouldn't it?
Oh God, Benny Bubbles, once again.
Stuck in a lift, yeah. But
I couldn't even bring myself to remotely watch that one that came out. What was it? The four people knock on a door.
Yeah.
One, I'm like, nah. One look at the trailer, I'm like, nah, can't do it. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, these 5 people turned into 4, and then the shot come from above, and suddenly one of the blokes who was in the original 4 was in the doorway of the lift that had closed. And then they all went to sit down, panned from above, and then when they sat down, panned from the side, they all sat down in different positions to what the pan from above was. I was thinking, what the hell is happening here? Yeah, but, so that was the start of it.
Yeah, you need room for a good time.
It did impress me. You know what I'm like for noticing things, but
yeah, and that's not budget. You know why studios whine about budget, and that's why I keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
Especially today, they keep whining. We don't have enough budget. Don't have enough budget. Make a TV show. Oh, we don't have enough budget. Who do you call them 2 idiots? Dan and Dave, the ones that made Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And every interview, oh, we don't have enough money. We don't have enough money. And it was the most successful show up till season 5, I think. You know what I mean? They couldn't do better. They couldn't ask for more, and they're still whining and complaining. That's when I knew it was going to fall. Because every interview is just the same crap, and they were sacrificing story. But things like that don't require budget. They just require attention to detail. That doesn't cost money.
No.
That just costs not being an idiot.
But you know, if you notice the films we've talked of before, and there's been mistakes, and they've been laughable mistakes, and we say because it was back in the 70s and 80s, no one cared about them. But I think this was one that I care about.
Yeah, and that's why. Remember, I've said to you before: if it's a good film, you're enjoying yourself. You don't care about the mistakes.
No.
When it's a bad film and you're not having a good time, then you start nitpicking.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. You just you start looking at things and you're like going, I'm not enjoying this. What's why am I not enjoying it?
What was it? Did you get the budget on it?
No, that's actually one of my first things was this released for TV, because they only release the budget and talk about the returns when it's for the cinema.
Yeah.
Which is annoying.
Surprisingly, it was the only Amicus production that didn't contain Peter Cushing.
All right.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Which I think probably with his star quality, it could have changed it a bit, because it would have made it more haunting, wouldn't it? He's got this like haunting feel. But
yeah, he plays his roles to a T, no doubt about it.
But I don't know how he could have fitted into this. Because
he could have been the bartender. Do you know what?
Yeah, that would have been.
If Peter Cushing was the bartender.
Yeah, and he had said he could have been. Well, tell me about your dream then, or something like that. And then at the end, catalyst. At the end, he was the one who said, "Oh, these people, and everything. They've got to do this every night, or
and done his monologue at the end.
Like he did with that film, the one about the antique shop
from Beyond the Grave.
Beyond the Grave.
Yeah.
At the end, it was just like, oh my God, that's Peter Cushing's role. And I think if he had been in this, it would have been a lot better than it was.
That's what it's missing, isn't it? It needed the. So if Peter, this is an expensive fix, by the way, because obviously they hired Peter Cushing. But if he's been in every one, why not this one? Yeah. But if it had come down and he had been tending the bar, and he had been like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting guests so early. Please have a seat." Oh, right, and then he pretended the thing wasn't working. Oh, looks like we're stuck here for a while. Have a drink.
Yeah,
and then we start opening up to him, and he's the catalyst.
It would have brought the whole thing of the bar being there, to some sense, because he'd just be perfect to welcome him in.
Because we've seen him playing the shopkeeper, we've seen him playing various roles, even in Hammer House of Horror when he played the pet shop owner.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to always play the gentleman, and that's the versatility of him. So he would easily play a barman, and he would easily change it to a working class accent. He would easily be that affable. He's one of the few great actors could drop and chains like that.
Yeah.
But that would have solved the whole thing. Even if not Peter Cushing, someone you needed a story driver.
Yeah. Yeah, you couldn't just put 5 blokes together who didn't know each other and say, "Hey, right, let's tell each other some, our dreams,
our deepest, darkest fears." It's not even like random curiosities. It's like, this thing's been haunting me. I'm just going to open up these 4 strangers. No.
But what did you think the 2 or the 1 best story was out of the 5?
Mine was This Trick Will Kill You.
Which one was? Oh,
the one set in India with the magicians.
Rope. One with the rope.
Yeah, with the Indian rope trick.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like the last one with the paintings. I thought.
Drawn and Quartered with Tom Baker.
Yeah, I did like that, but
he's like a. Suppose we'll go through them one by one. So
yeah,
the setup is they go down to the bottom. They find themselves in a strange club that looks like looks like a sacrificial chamber, to be honest. So
Yeah.
very strange. And for hell, it's actually not a very good hell. Let's be
No.
honest. Oh, I'll just recount my. I'll sit down here with a little snifter, and I'll just recount my story, and then go back to sleep and do it again.
Yeah.
So that's it. So everyone goes into dream state. So we've got the first one's called Midnight Mess. And we start off with Harold. And oh my god, he is like, wah, you know,
Yeah.
Dick Dastardly, British
Yeah.
Dick Dastardly. You know, he couldn't be any more obvious.
Yeah. And he kills the guy who he hired to
Yeah,
find out where his sister was.
and you're like, someone like that. That's what I don't get. So he hires a private investigator, and
Yeah.
we thought it looks as if he's searching for his ex-wife or something, but he, it turned out he's looking for his sister.
Yeah.
This bloke's dodgy anyway. You can tell he's that sort of, bit of woo, bit of wah type person.
Yeah.
So someone like that would have backup plans because they're used to being in situations where they could be betrayed.
Yeah.
So that's a bit stupid for a start. Secondly, why does he have to worry? If he's hired someone like that, that's their reputation.
Yeah.
So if they're going to tell on their employers, they've effectively screwed themselves, haven't they?
Yeah. But
So this is someone who's used to doing dodgy things for nefarious people.
If he's hired a hotel room, and he kills someone, where's he put the body? If he leaves the body in there, surely if he's given the right name at the hotel, they're going to track him down anyway.
Yeah. Because believe it or not, crime still got investigated in the 70s.
Yeah.
Without DNA evidence, there were these things called policemen that actually policed.
Yeah.
Not what we got today, but
But they should have got Columbo on it, because if he was being he'd done it.
I missed that show.
It was you.
But you kind of get that. It's strange that this was put across as a movie.
Yeah.
Because to me, this is just like a TV serial.
This could have been like something off, the TV series Hammer House of Horror, wasn't it?
Yeah, it just felt like a few episodes.
One that had the theme tune.
Yeah, we covered that right at the start.
Yeah. But yeah, it could have just been that. I think it would have fitted better as a individual sort of TV episode.
And considering the material it was adapted from, that's because I just finished season 4 there of Creepshow. Actually, I don't know how to do a review of that or not.
Yeah.
I just finished. You know what I mean? It's like, but that's, you get what you get. Some are good, some are funny, some are stinkers.
Yeah.
It's all, but you're not really expecting much. I think because of the setup with us, I'll be interested because we're doing it in reverse order. We're going back in time.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting when we look at the earlier ones. What was there an expectation?
Well, yeah, we won't know until we've done the others.
Yeah.
But then again, you had From Beyond the Grave, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. That came after, so that was good.
Yeah. And that was good. So
yeah.
Did they then think, oh God, we've just released a bomber, we've got to get better, and yeah.
Well, I guess we'll find out when we look back. But yeah, so you've got this guy. He's hired someone to track down his sister, and then immediately he's like, "Yep, I'm going to kill you." And the way he did it so easily, like he is not a fighter.
No.
Like, he's a string bean, and this guy's rough and ready, and yet somehow he just takes him out with no problem, like a skilled assassin.
Yeah. But the other thing, he sticks a knife in her, doesn't he? And then in the
end, but I mean, killing the private investigator at the start.
Oh yeah,
it should not have been that easy.
Just why? He could have just said, "Yeah, thanks. Here's the money. Bye." There would have been no comebacks on him leaving, was there? Because he was a bit of a dodgy private investigator anyway.
Exactly. So he had no skin in the game to tell on him.
So what was the purpose of killing the private investigator?
Well, I had to see how evil he was.
Yeah.
That's it. I just had to see that he was evil.
But then, if you notice, he was in the bathroom and he had his shirt collars up and he put his tie on. And then when there was a knock on the door, suddenly his collars were down and his tie was on the bed.
Yeah, I couldn't get that myself. I'm like going,
I thought, hold on, you put that tie on just now. Yeah, but yeah,
oh, very strange. But yeah, he goes to this, suppose out in the sticks sort of village,
yeah,
and the first thing he does is he finds a house. He rings a bell. Now he knows what he's there to do.
yeah,
So why on earth would you go in a small town? You go to the local restaurant.
yeah, yeah. And,
No, mate,
yeah,
that's like yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah, I rang a bell. No one's home. Oh look, a restaurant.
right across the street. I'll go and I'll make myself
You
known.
go there if it was a cafe, wouldn't you? If it was just somewhere to get a drink and a biscuit,
Mhm.
piece of cake, you go in, but you wouldn't go in and say, oh, "I'm waiting for my sister. I know I'll have a 5-course meal." You just, yeah,
Yeah, because you're just making yourself noticeable, aren't you? You just
yeah, yeah. Mm.
um yeah, but I suppose the plot needed to happen. It's one of these things. We needed to find out that oh, after dark, scary wary woo.
Yeah, and
So when he's
it
in the restaurant,
could have been anything really. Can you? That was a bit suspenseful because dark relates to vampires. It relates to werewolves.
yeah,
So the first time you look at it, oh, something's going to happen here. Something to do with the dark.
that's what
Um,
I thought immediately. Vampires or werewolves, it's one of the two.
yeah. So yeah, turns out to be vampires.
But I don't get why they didn't put a close sign on the door. Like if they're not, usually in restaurants aren't having any more customers that put
Yeah,
closed, lock the door, then let customers out.
yeah, yeah.
Uh
I thought that the restaurant, the first time we went in to the second time we went in, I thought the second time the restaurant got bigger.
yeah, it looked like a completely different place. There's
Yeah.
something I would need to go back and do it again, but yeah, it looked different.
And I looked at the outside of the shop, the restaurant, and I thought, how could something so small at the front be so big on the second time? Be
Yeah.
so big inside, And if you notice when the vampires started coming towards him, at first you could only see like, 10 at the most, and suddenly there was bloody loads of them, wasn't it? Um,
And you're
yeah,
just like, what is going on? But I don't think I think you're meant to switch off your logic centers.
yeah,
Um I think also the problem with this is it should have been a comedy. They all should have been comedies.
yeah,
But
yeah.
they're playing it straight and they're trying to make it scary. Even the music at the beginning,
Yeah.
like drama music.
Yeah, it was the old Hammer House of Horror
Yeah.
music. Dun, dun, dun. But I thought, like you said, it should have been a comedy because when they had that thing in the side of his neck and they were
Oh
pouring out,
God, yeah. I
that
lost
should
it.
have been instant comedy, couldn't you?
I
You could
lost it.
after that.
Well, the fangs even because
Oh, they were the kids' fangs, weren't they?
they weren't even. They were. I don't know what the hell.
They're the sort of things that the kids used to have 2 lots and they used to put them in. And,
Yeah.
they weren't even, like you said, they weren't even that. They were just 2 pieces stuck on really on each one.
Absolutely horrendous. But yeah, he's sitting having dinner. He goes in like he goes. He's told right, no, go get yourself indoors because it's dark.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Then he goes in. He rings the bell. His sister answers, and then we find out it's because their father's died and she's been left all the money while she's alive. Wow. And you're like, oh my god, and it's the fact they're playing it straight.
Yeah.
I think that's what messes with your head. But they're playing it straight. This should have been a straight out just laugh fest. It should have been just embrace the ridiculousness of it.
Because he stabs her.
Yeah.
And then when she comes into the restaurant at the end, she obviously taken the knife out, but there was no hole in her dress. So,
Well, Steve, if they can't even sit people properly at a table and get that bit right, then are they going to get anything complicated fixed?
yeah. I know.
This is all the part-time students that made this. They were cutting back in staff that week.
The script written on the back of a Swan Vestas box.
Yeah, just, right. Do it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah,
Another thing I noticed in the film was after killing her, he puts he puts his coat on, then puts a red flower in his lapel of his long coat.
because why would you
When,
do that?
when he goes over the restaurant, it's on the lapel of his jacket under the long coat.
Yeah,
So it's yeah,
just things like that are just absolutely ridiculous. But why would you take the flower in the first place? It makes no sense.
no,
If he's trying to get an inheritance, if that's supposedly the story, then you're going to be as discreet as possible. And the last thing you want to do is give any evidence that you were there,
yeah,
because fingerprinting was still a thing, you know.
yeah.
Um, and
It's
he's acting
like
like a serial killer.
when he come down from his sister's the first time when she wasn't home, and that bloke pops up, doesn't he? He says, "Oh, you better get in. They're, they come out at night." Well, he would have seen him coming down the steps. So, if he was a normal person, and the police said who killed this girl, he would have been a perfect witness.
Yeah, and then in fact he went to the restaurant
Yeah,
in a small village where if you're a stranger you're going to get noticed.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right.
Uh, makes no sense.
Yeah,
But yeah, then he goes back because that's what you do. You see a bunch of people, you've just killed someone, you've gone down the steps, and you see a bunch of people over there. You're like, I know, I'm gonna go in with them because it annoyed me that they've closed the restaurant instead of, yeah, I just killed my sister. I need to get out of Dodge and not be around here so that
yeah.
they can't get identified.
But he didn't even get any blood on himself when he killed his sister.
No,
And
no,
I
why
don't
would
know.
you?
I mean, there's certain things you don't get blood spatter in there, but do you get it if you? I mean, he was quite close to her, wasn't he, when he done
Yeah,
it? Yeah. So he should have gone into the restaurant, and they should have gone. You got blood on your shirt there, And if they were vampires, they'd gone. Lovely.
yeah, yeah, sniff, sniff. Yeah, just the whole premise of this is daft. I get the idea of a place where you don't go out at night and stuff, maybe whatnot, but the whole premise of that story is just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then we start getting served, drink. That's when you knew it was vampires before they revealed,
Yeah.
because yeah, blood red, Bloody Mary. All right, they're vampires. Okay, it's not werewolves. Then the
But
soup, and then
even
you're
that,
like,
even that was a bit of comedy, wasn't it? Oh, yeah, don't like that sort of thing. And then they brings the soup over, and it looks like blood, doesn't it? It looks like
yeah,
and you think, what sort of soup is this? And then the guy comes over, doesn't he, and says, "How would you like your roasted blood clots?" Isn't it? What clots? Blood clots? And that's when he suddenly realised that what he was eating and everything was blood. But
yeah. And then the mirror just appears.
yeah,
The
yeah,
reveal.
yeah. Why would you do that? Why would you? Why don't you just kill him? Why don't you just get the vampires? And why pull back the curtains to reveal a huge mirror for him to see that there was, there was no reflections from the
I think it
mirror?
was more for us. It's more for the audience than actual
Yeah,
plot.
but you could tell the story. You didn't need to be daft to tell the story by then, did you?
Yeah. I said I'd need to read those comics again because I know they were, very loose,
hmm,
but you could put a wee bit of effort in.
yeah.
It's just very
If you think Tales of the Crypt, they'd come to the end of the story and then it would turn into the cartoon bit, wouldn't it?
yeah. And
Still,
Creepshow does it as well.
yeah. But this just didn't hit it,
Yeah, that's a because of the material they're using, and then they try to do something different with the material and didn't stick with the theme.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just a mess. I don't think they knew what to do with it. I think they needed to pick what is this going to be a comedy? Because it's not going to be horror. Not with the material we'll have. It's not going to be straight up horror. People at the edge of their seats.
Yeah.
So when it's not like that, you have to go the other route. You have to go comedy route.
Yeah. I'm just looking at where it was.
And also, why was he? I know he was evil, but at the same time, what happened to him? It wasn't to do with his actions. It was wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So his
It's a weird
punishment, for what he did, didn't really fit.
because they say afterwards, "Oh, that was your dream. Did you have you got a sister?" No.
Yeah,
Why would you?
and that's where this is where the whole thing is just completely disjointed. Like, if you read that, you'd be scratching your head. If somebody gave the script,
Yeah.
and you read that, you'd be like, "This makes no sense."
Which is probably why Peter Cushing.
Yeah, maybe he was asked to be the barman. He's like, "No, I'm good, thanks."
Yeah, that will ruin my career.
Yeah, have standards. And then we get on to I think the next one's the worst one of the lot, the Neat Job.
Yeah.
Just for his utter stupidity.
Yeah.
So we go to Arthur, and he has his dream. And something's wrong. Like, by the time we get to the second dream, I'm like, all right, okay, they're all dead or something like that. This is weird. This just doesn't.
Yeah, it sort of tells you the ending before they.
Yeah. Like, by the time you get to the second one, like, oh, right, they're going to go do a round robin. And, oh, Tom Baker has to wait till the last because he's Tom Baker.
Yeah. He's
yeah,
the big.
Okay. The biggest actor goes last. All right, okay, right. See where this is going. I'd already sort of switched off, to be honest.
Yeah.
After the first one, and the fact that they're trying to play it straight and not be a comedy.
Yeah.
Then I kind of going through the motions after this.
Typecasting. Don't you see Tom Baker and Doctor Who? And was my instant thing. Oh, it's Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Baker. Yeah.
We'll forget that he's done other things.
Yeah.
God. But yeah, we've got Arthur, and he's just talking to somebody. Yeah, I've built my money now. I've set my house up. What I need now is a wife to look after the place.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Let's move things round. You can't move things round. Okay.
No conversation. You just gets married the next week.
Yeah.
What was it? Oh yeah, such and such. His daughter, he's looking to marry off his daughter. She's no talent, hasn't done anything, and I'm an obsessive neat freak. How's this going to work?
Yeah. You would have thought there would have been a courting period, wouldn't you?
It doesn't sound like my marriages. Maybe that's why I don't like this one. It's a bit too close to home.
Yeah.
Freaking
exactly. Yeah.
But you'd better just get a housekeeper once a week.
Well, that would have been easier, wouldn't it? Probably. Yeah.
I just love the way that the description of this is he marries a young trophy wife.
Yeah. And she wasn't that young.
No.
They gave the impression when the two guys were in the pub that she was a Barbie doll,
Yeah.
And oh, how did you get her? God, she was roughly the same age, wasn't she?
It made no sense.
Yeah.
But they never had any form of conversation. They just get married and moved in, so no courtship, no this is my home, how I run it, or okay, where's your space? None of that conversation happened.
No. And I think the comedy part was when he put on her knickers.
Yeah, but
when you look, you'd have more than one pair of underpants, wouldn't you? And I go through mine. I think, oh, what one should I have today? And you wouldn't go, oh yeah.
No, I have a strict top to bottom.
Yeah.
Because the problem with doing that is you end up wearing the same like 3 or 4 pairs all the time, cycling through them by the time putting them in the wash. So I have this thing where when I do 1 week, I have always 2 weeks worth of clothes. So by the time I do week one's wash goes in behind.
Right.
So to start the new there. Same on the socks.
But you would not look, would you?
No, I was like, even I don't even switch on the light when I get up.
Yeah.
So even in the winter, because there's enough ambient light that when I'm in my bedroom and getting up, and plus switching on light makes you do that dazzle thing. So I operate, look, pick up, I know what I'm doing. It's not as if I've been in my own all the time, so I have lived with people, I know the score. But then again, you have the conversation of, right, well, this is my side, so I'll have it all, my stuff, even sharing the closet, right, left and right.
That pair of knickers, surely you would have felt that it wasn't right.
Yeah, even just they were lacy and pink. I know it was done for comedy effect, but
It's in quite elasticy, weren't they, around everywhere?
yeah, you'd feel that straight away.
Surely she wasn't. Well, she might have been the same size, same waist, but yeah, and they were big. They were women's knickers, back in the 70s, where
they're bloomers, yeah.
Yeah, and he put them on. I mean, I just laughed. I thought, oh, this is a bit of a comedy thing, that bit. But
I think that's the problem with this. They didn't lean into the comedy elements. It's almost like the comedy's there, but they didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, when she had her calamity of errors, wasn't it? When she put her glass, didn't she, on the table, and it made a ring of water or something, or whatever.
And then it just got
glass. Why didn't she just wipe it and hope that it didn't stain? Or if it did stain, you wouldn't have got rid of it that quick with a tin of polish. You would have had to really shine it up and everything. But she knocks the polish over, doesn't she? She moved the mat. Well, he would have noticed that the mat was moved.
It just got ridiculous.
Yeah.
But even up, he made I can't remember. There was a dinner scene where he was going to cook for her. What went wrong there?
He didn't have any tomatoes, did he?
Oh, that was it. He went to the cupboard. And
she didn't mark off, or you had to remove a tick when you.
You take something out of the cupboard,
and she didn't do it. But if I was his wife, I would have gone, "Hey, bugger off," and you want it ticked off, tick it off yourself.
But also, who starts cooking without getting your ingredients? That's why it's called mise en place.
Oh, yeah.
That's you don't just. I think we'll blame TV chefs for this. People think that you just start taking the stuff and prepare while you're cooking. No, cooking's the last thing you do. You do all your preparation. You get your ingredients out. You know what you're going to make.
Yeah,
and then you start.
If I cook my lasagna, I always check I've got cheese. Good mince, low fat mince. I put mushrooms in it. Tin of tomatoes, tomato puree, but I make sure I've got it. And if you haven't got it,
you slice your mushrooms first. You have them on your dish. You have your onions. You have it all there ready.
But if you haven't got it, you either think I've got to go to the shop, or
cooking something else.
Or you think I'll have to do something else and do the lasagna tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no.
And TV chefs weren't even a thing back then, so
he put the pasta on, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then tasted the pasta.
Pasta's the last thing you put on as well.
Yeah, because it takes 10 minutes.
Because a good bolognese or a good sauce-based thing takes an hour to slow cook.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so you would have all that bubbling away, and then the water's the last thing you put on.
Yeah.
Surely
he would have had the bolognese as well, and he would have had to use the tomatoes in the bolognese. It just didn't make common sense.
But then again, this is must be everyone that works in these studios, because honestly, I don't live too far. And they're all around here. That's why I don't hang about with anybody around here, because they're all daft. They don't have common sense. They're all friggin' says we thing. They're like, I just can't. There's no logic. I think that's the big thing. That's not even a budget thing again. That's just, how do you not know? How does nobody not know how to do basic cooking?
Yeah.
In the 70s, so there's no fast food.
No.
No microwave meals.
No. That 70s is when I learned to cook, because my mum was a nurse, and we either had to cook or starve because there was no. Then we did have a fish and chip shop, but it was a 2 mile walk.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, there was no McDonald's, no fast food outlets, and so you had to cook fresh or starve. So, and my mum used to finish work, and we used to make sure that we cooked her a meal, for when she got home from the hospital. So yeah, that you learn what to do, and they should have had the thought, yeah, bang, this is what I've got to do. But you cook the pasta before the meal.
Was it filler? Were they just trying to fill up the 20-minute slot?
Yeah.
With them doing something?
Or was the director going, what can we do now? I know. You'll cook a meal, and then you'll shout at her. Yeah.
I think you're trying to give it an impression that he's moved in and she's being abused and he's absolutely railing on her. And this is every day, so that when she does make the ring on the coffee table, she's that frazzled. But she's also, at the same time, just arsing about. Record players on. She's just in a like faffing about the place.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's coming home or something,
Yeah. She flipped quite easy, didn't she? Because there weren't many incidents that.
But are they trying to tell us that this was over a longer period? It's only got like a 20-minute window. Are they trying to give us the impression this has been going on for months?
Yeah. But she flipped quite easy. But claw hammer. Mm.
Yeah, but the whole calamity, like his workshop.
Yeah,
the fact she was able to destroy it.
Yeah.
Like that easily. This is somebody who would make sure that the plugs are in the wall and it's all, that gets out the spirit level.
Yeah. That's a secure method, not only the wall plugs with the screws, he'd have like brackets on the side and stuff like that.
Yeah. He wouldn't be messing about.
No. Yeah. But yeah, she just went in, pulled all the nails down, didn't she? They all went all over the place. Well, anyone with a bit of sense would have gone, oh, damn, I'll get that jar. Oh, no, I'll get the nails back in. You wouldn't have gone, oh, I'll have that jar as well. Oh, I've spilled that. Oh, I'll have that one then. And and then the thing fell down with all the Amazon. And like you said, it would have been precise, all that. But,
yeah, it was just obviously trying to rush the end of the plot. And
I didn't get the part either. She would understand how to cut up a body because she was quite.
That's you can't even,
And I'm talking body parts, wasn't it? It was like, I don't know, I'll cut out his liver, and she put liver on the jar. Well, she didn't have the intelligence to find out what a liver was. I mean, she could have guessed the nose and the eyes, but that was about it.
Yeah.
But she went deep into body parts, didn't she? She had them all in jars.
Yeah, and that's, once again, it's the...
Why?
I think they were trying to make a comedy, but not funny people were making a comedy. People with no actual sense of humor were trying to make a comedy here.
Yeah.
It's like modern day comedy. Like, most of them are miserable bastards, and they don't actually make comedy. They make shouting pieces. I think that's what it is. Just they were trying to make a comedy, and they just between them all, they haven't got a humor funny people in their body. Just but once again, ridiculous.
Yeah, it was one of those that you could have skipped through right to the end of the sketch, and still got the premise of it.
Really. Yeah. As I said, it was my least favorite one out of a lot.
Yeah, mine too. Yeah.
But then we'll go back. This one I enjoyed because this, in terms of plot, actually made sense.
Yeah.
So this trick will kill you. This is where the two magicians, the magician and his sister, husband, busy Paul Daniels and what do you call her? Debbie McGee.
Oh, Debbie McGee, yeah.
Yeah, this is Paul Daniels and Debbie McGee going out on holidays.
Yeah. But don't you find a real magician, wasn't it? I don't know whether it's a code that was done after this sketch was actually made. You wouldn't sort of divulge another magician's tricks.
Yeah, but that was the reason of building up the magic circle. But magicians are arseholes.
Yeah.
They are notorious for being absolute, like they're like cats, hissing at each other.
Yeah.
But that was the whole thing of the magic circle is the join. They You only go so far. It's like the union, they only go so far if they're not a magic circle member, and then it's all taken as pledge that you don't like. That's one of the biggest no-nos is revealing trick. Did you ever watch The Prestige?
Yes. Yes. I like that film.
You know what I mean? That went into the lore of magicians
Yeah.
and the do's and the don'ts and the stepping in, and that's one thing you do not do. You do not try to embarrass
Other magicians.
other
Yeah.
on stage because that just starts a war. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
you can try and find out their tricks, but you can't steal their trick.
Mm.
I mean, you can figure it out, but that was the whole thing of gifting.
Yeah.
So a magician will amend the trick, and then they may gift that trick to someone to perform.
Mm.
And there's a whole. I'll have to ask. There's a friend of mine. He's a magician. He probably knows more about it. Eli. He'd probably be able to tell me more about it. But they have a whole culture.
Yeah.
And there's a whole set of decorum. There's a whole ritual. It's
Because that actor, wasn't it, Patrick? Something is wasn't he president of the Magic Circle or something? Patrick.
can't think.
Oh, he was in It's a Sin, the TV series, and he was in that film with God, what was it called? I'm trying to think of his name now. Gone Girl. He was in Gone Girl. He was the one who he was the obsessive boyfriend who she ran to, and
I'm
I'm
can't
gonna
think of his name. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look at
girl Patrick's.
yeah.
Not Patrick Wilson.
No, not Patrick Wilson.
Patrick Fugit. Is that who you're thinking about?
No.
Patrick Harris?
Let me have a look.
Oh God, that's why I didn't watch it.
Yeah, Neil Patrick
Harris. All right, yes.
Yeah. He's very big magician, and he was something big in the Magic Circle, I believe.
All right, well, that's
yeah, and yeah, he's quite a talented guy. This what was it? Education, career.
Yeah, but they have even Penn and Teller. They're the ones that sort of you've got Penn and Teller, you've got the Masked Magician. They sort of break the rules, but at the same time they don't.
Yeah.
Reveal certain ones, but they don't go and destroy other magicians because it's a no-no.
Yeah.
Because they think they know once to start that, it's just the whole industry's gone.
Yeah.
Because when you start doing that, then people know it's a trick.
Yeah. He's president of the board of directors of Hollywood's Magic Castle, whatever that is. I think it's the Hollywood.
Oh God, that was remember Clive Barker's The Illusionist?
Yeah.
Yeah, they featured the Magic Castle in there and had it breaking into a secret vault and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but magicians are horrible anyway. That's why they need so many rules, because they'd stab each other in the back as soon as they look at each other. It's just the nature of that industry.
Yeah. So
yeah. But yeah, we've got Sebastian. He's our big bad this time. And I just don't get why he would go to somewhere like India why in the middle of a bazaar and what he would get from humiliating the performer.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Anyone else would just thought it's a trick, or it's their version of magic, and clap them afterwards.
And it's not what I'm looking for. I'm still hunting. In fact, someone like him, if you give him a bit of charm, would probably introduce you to somebody.
Yeah.
But once again, we need to know this character's a bad guy. You have to, it just had to hit you over the head with it. This is it's almost American storytelling. I think that's why it doesn't fit, because it's American style storytelling, but with British actors.
Yeah,
and the two just don't mix.
No. We've even got a different sense of humor, haven't we, Americans?
Yeah. So never the twain shall meet. And Creepshow was Tales from the Crypt was an American magazine, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're adapting American material. It's like when Americans try to do British material, like when they tried to do Red Dwarf, because the humor doesn't translate. The only one that ever got away with it was The Office.
Oh, I thought,
yeah. But it's the only one that ever got away with it. But
can't get American humor, so
yeah,
I probably didn't think so. But
no, but it's the only one that came close. Out of the whole lot.
American humor, I sit there and everyone else is laughing, and I sit there, apart from a guy called Josh Blue. I don't know if you've ever seen.
Not familiar with him because I don't like American comedians. I don't do.
Oh, he is he's got it's not cerebral palsy. He's got something wrong. They would have called him thalidomide these days, or back along. But he is hilarious. He wore a copper band on this hand, and this hand is completely out of shape, And he says, I've got this copper band. He says, and someone said to me, does that thing work? He says, yeah. He says, next week I'm going to wear it on this arm. And it's just the way he says it, and because he's disabled. And
that was funny enough, because people think the word thalidomide's a slur. This is how stupid people are. Don't read their history.
Yeah.
You know what where that term comes from?
No.
It was the name of the drug that caused the conditions.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that.
The conditions were caused directly from pregnant women taking the drug thalidomide. Yeah. So they became known as thalidomides because it was a fucking direct result of medical negligence. And people think, well, that's the same as you calling somebody something else. I was like, no, it's not. It's actually, look at the context. But everyone's so desperate for offense these days that they actually rewrite bits of history where wrongs were actually done to people.
Yeah, because the kids used to go around school playground and say, oh, you're flid. And to shorten it. But I can't remember what they call it now. Is it cerebral palsy? Something like that?
Yeah, but it's no, but CP it's a medical condition. Thalidomides were actually the direct result of an experimental drug that wasn't properly tested or regulated, being taken by pregnant women, and it was their children that suffered because of it, deformed limbs and so on.
Oh yeah, he has got cerebral palsy, and I'm just reading on it. But fantastic guy, he's really funny. Where did we get to?
Yeah, American humor. I think that might be the problem with this anthology, because it's American humor, and it's being done by British people. Yeah. Because have you ever seen Bloodbath at the House of Death?
No.
Kenny Everett. I reviewed it I think a year ago.
Yeah, no, I've never seen it.
Right, well, it's all like Carry On style comedy, but it's a horror.
Oh, right.
And it, it's not like British can't do comedy and we can't do horror comedy. It's just that this is this different style of comedy coming over. I think that's what we're starting to figure out. These magazines are shorts, they're American comedy, and it's been done by the wrong studio.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the wrong people. So it's the wrong mindset. So there are two worlds colliding, and it's just not working.
Yeah. It just doesn't fit in with the Amicus horror genre, does it?
No.
Yeah.
But this one was the best because it made sense. So, two arrogant magicians.
Yeah.
Their husband and wife team. They're up their own arse. They're realizing that the game is that you always have to keep ahead of the game. You can't rest on your laurels because someone else just come over and up and steal your throne. So they're traveling far and wide to find new tricks. Yeah.
The reason why I thought this one was funny was you saw at the end when the rope went wild. You saw the
that was a daft bit.
You saw the strings on the rope. The magician, when he kills the girl and everything, and starts playing the old a recorder thing. He plays the same tune as what the girl played twice before him.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly the same tune. So it was obvious that someone was in behind playing it or something, or they only had one tune written. When the woman, the wife, climbed the rope, she suddenly became very manlike and turned into a stuntman with a wig on. I don't know if you recognise that.
But I actually like that. But the fact that she climbed the rope and then disappeared,
Yeah,
that was actually a good use of horror. As in, all right, she disappears and you see the blood. It was very subtle.
yeah.
I like that. And then when the rope came to life, I just gave up. I'm like, oh my god, no.
Yeah. But ropes don't make whipping noises.
They don't hiss either.
No. But did you notice the sound effects when the rope was chasing him? Was a
I've
whip.
given up though. Yeah, but I just heard that and I heard the rope hiss and I'm like, I give up.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I was invested in the story. I sort of got the thing, but this was the better told one up to that point.
Yeah. But
and you're just like, why?
It sort of preempted what was going to happen, though. That the rope was going to hang him, and you thought it's going to have something to do with that magician that he pissed off, the rope was hanging, and he went, and then the old foreign magician sort of looked up at him and said, "Oh, this is an act of." Trickery, magic, whatever it was, and then he looked up at him, didn't he? And as if to say, "Up yours, mate." But and then the girl was still alive, wasn't she?
Yeah. That was, like I said, it was the best one of the long list. It's not it's not a high bar here, but I just thought it was a better put together one,
Yeah.
But it just got ridiculous at the end.
It wasn't my favorite, but it was probably my second favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This next one's completely daft as well.
Yeah.
Bargain and death. So here's the plan. I've got an insurance policy against me. So here's what I'll do. I'll sign everything over to you. You bury me alive, and then pick me up again so we can share the spoils. What's on there?
He's suddenly got this experimental drug, isn't he? That slows his heart. Well, black coffee does that. They say black coffee, if you drink too much of it, slows your heart rate. You just want to drink a pot of black coffee but then on that sort of thing with insurance policy, you don't trust anyone, do you? Don't even trust your wife, do you? But
that's what I mean. Everything's signed over to you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put myself in a position where you can walk away with no problem.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. And I'll trust you to dig me up and share stuff, right?
No.
Right. How many marriages have fallen apart after a lottery win?
Yeah, exactly.
So what chance have you got against a friend?
Yeah.
And I'll use the term loosely. What if marriages fall apart when money gets involved? What chance have you got when you're like just some random bloke? Yeah, let's do it.
Friends aren't friends. You'll get 1 in a million. Like I told you earlier about this lady that I know. You get 1 in a million who is a really trusted friend, friends are just people, aren't they?
Yeah. So that's what I mean. When you actually have married, people who are in love with each other, married, would fall apart over a lottery win or an influx of money or somebody feeling cheated. What? You've no chance. So already you know where this plot's going, and you're just like, you're an idiot. You deserve to be locked in the coffin and not dug up.
If I said, Colin, can you look after this £1 million for me and give it back to me next week? You'd be gone, wouldn't you? You'd be hiking up around the world saying,
I don't know, actually, because believe it or not, no. And I'm weird. Like, especially other people's money. I've had people, I go around and have people hand me money all the time, and I'm like, fucking can't wait to get rid of this again, get back so it's off my head.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to be living looking over my shoulder. Plus, if it's that position, the more money you still, that's the higher the caliber of the person's going to come after you.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen people like nick stuff out of work, not my work, but out of workplaces. I've seen people nick stuff, and I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
Not that. Believe it or not, that wouldn't actually because I should be rich. Right? If I was more of that way inclined, even a bit, I'd be rich now.
Yeah.
But I'm not. My brain just doesn't work like that. It's weird.
Yeah, I earn the money.
I'd be like sitting in that £1,000,000 fight going, I want this out of my house. I don't like us sitting here. Because if somebody nicks it or if it gets destroyed, I'm going to be the fall for it. I want it back. And I'd be like sweating by the time you come back. Go, fucking take it. Get out of my face. It's weird. But if you're actually, like, these are people who are committing fraud.
Yeah.
So they're criminals anyway. So they've got that mindset. So absolutely not. No honor among thieves and all that stuff.
But again, the comedy aspect comes in with it because the two medical students meet Arthur Mullard, don't they, in the graveyard because they want a body to practice on.
Yeah.
For their medical student course, and he says, "What are you two? We're ghouls." Yeah, I thought brilliant.
But once again, that could have been if these were done slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
In fact, if somebody like Kenny Everett had been involved in this.
Yeah.
Or Benny Hill or someone, this would have worked. And if it hadn't been the dramatic music but daft comedy, if it had been like a Carry On, if this had been a Carry On series,
the
Carry On cast, this would have been brilliant.
Yeah.
In fact, that's who should have done it. We should have got the Carry On cast.
Well, yeah, that would have should have been called, I don't know,
Carry On the Vault of Horror or something, Carry on Horror
or something like that. Yeah,
it would have been brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now to think about it, this would have been perfectly. That's the team that would have adapted it.
I mean, Arthur Mullard was a comedy actor. If you, he was in a show and he used to go, "Well, what you having?" You were in the pub and he'd go, "Pint." You go, "No, I'll have half." And I forget what the name of the program, but he was a comedy actor. And here he was, in charge of a graveyard. And I think, again, it brought in the comedy aspect without them actually expecting it to be a comedy.
Yeah.
When
he was the best character. Let's be honest.
Yeah. When he, knocked him over the head. When he went, "Yeah, I've got him for you. There you go. Yeah. Sorry about the head."
But then that should have been and this is where this thing falls apart. That should have been the whole premise, because of the ridiculousness of the storylines and that.
Yeah.
That's what it should have been.
Yeah.
But say la vie, but we got Maitland. And also these two students, they couldn't get an extra body like through channels.
No.
Really?
But why did they want that one in particular?
Exactly. If there were,
there's hundreds of funerals every day. Of course, why did they want that? The guy that they knew was in the flat next door. They could have just gone to a church or something and seen which funerals was on, and then as soon as the body was buried, they could have just dug it up at night.
Once again, they're just trying to make the plot happen, and they just don't care how.
Yeah.
But yeah, also Maitland's going on about running out of air, and he keeps lighting matches.
Yeah. That would have like burned the air.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. He had quite a lot of air, didn't he?
Like, why didn't he have a torch? They had torches in the 70s.
Yeah.
Would have made more sense.
Yeah. But how did he manage to move in there to light the bloody
it's these luxury TV coffins. Do you ever see them all the time? Every coffin's always this big luxury one that can stretch about and move and ridiculous. But the bit that got me aim for that car exploding.
Oh yeah. That was so quick, wasn't it?
That was so daft. I mean, that was just ridiculous.
Why didn't he just slam on his brakes? See two people and slam on his brake.
And of course, he drives past the graveyard because that's what happens.
Yeah, because the sign, said cemetery that way. Well, why would you go that way just to see a cemetery? He wasn't going to dig a person up anyway because he was running away with the bloody money.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which we knew was going to happen from like the first sentence.
Yeah. 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 It's, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, and then the fact that he comes to life. I'm like, bong.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about the head, mate.
Oh God!
Probably the funniest line in the film. That.
Yeah, it's like the only genuine, sort of hilarious bit.
Yeah,
because the rest of this is like just bad comedy. Like,
yeah. And out of the cast, Arthur Millard was probably the one that could have got away with that saying. If you know Arthur Millard's comedy acting, but because of his grumpy voice, his sorry about the head, mate. You think, yeah. I do like Arthur. My mum used to love Arthur Millard. Used to watch a lot of his stuff, but so I was sort of brought up with knowing who Arthur Millard was. Yeah.
Not that, but yeah. Once again, it just daft. Like the whole premise, these are just ridiculous. Then we get the last one, because we had to have Tom Baker have the last because he's the big actor.
Yeah. I liked this one. I thought it was quite good. The use of voodoo.
Yeah, it's well put together, but at the same time, he's an impoverished artist, but he can afford his luxury tropical hut in Haiti.
Yeah. Well, they were. Yeah, they were selling his art behind his back, weren't they? Telling him that he was making 10 quid and they were selling it for 5,000 and stuff like that. How did he afford to go to this tropical country in the first place?
Yeah, if he's impoverished.
Must have been, if they were doing voodoo, it would have been Africa, wouldn't it? Is that what they do, voodoo?
I'm
not
parts of the Caribbean, West Indies, and Africa. It's kind of various forms of it.
Yeah. So he was over there.
Yeah.
Which in the 70s wasn't cheap.
No, but not only that there. If he's impoverished, you need money. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. To have the luxury apartment, you need to have money.
Yeah.
And in fact, it would be more. So he's not living in destitute. I mean, he's sitting in his whole studio and his beach hut and everything else all up. So if I had him started off in a dingy flat, it would make sense.
He had to borrow the money to go to London off his mate, didn't he? And he says, "Oh, you get more back." But
also, that's what happens. People buy stuff and sell it for more. That's how profits are made.
Yeah.
So the whole premise of it, if his art was stolen, I would get it. But the whole convoluted way of this plot was just ridiculous.
Yeah. I like the voodoo aspect.
The voodoo aspect was cool, but the way he comes in and goes, "I want voodoo."
Yeah.
And no offering or anything, and the guy goes, "Here, have voodoo."
Yeah. Stick your hand in this boiling hot water.
You can have all the voodoo you want.
What? Yeah. I'm not sticking my hand in that bloody water. Stick your voodoo. But, yeah. I did like it.
Well, it started off, the first two, like he decides to draw paint portraits of the three people.
Yeah.
And yeah, he has the meeting. The fact that would have a meeting with him,
yeah,
and then laugh at him like openly, it was so comical.
Yeah.
And not funny comical, it's in daft comical. Just like what the hell.
Yeah.
Makes no sense, but that's what the whole meeting. Then they're just laughing at his face. So the art critic gave false, basically review, modern day terms, review bombed him.
Yeah.
So he'd feel worthless. So he'd sell his art cheap.
Yeah.
And then they sold it
profit. But, yeah. but you just knew what was going to happen because he put the portrait of himself in the safe where there's no air. So when he started killing off all the people, by sticking the thing in their eyes and stuff like that, killing off all three, you thought, he's got one of himself in the safe. If he's killing people off, with something like that, you just knew what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And all right, he survived it, and then it went with the paint, whatever landed on his painting, wasn't it?
That was paint thinner, but
paint thinner, yeah.
Obviously, they didn't have the money left in budget to have him like splashed with acid because I had a chemical carrying truck knock him over.
Yeah,
but he obviously just had to do that. The third kill though with the other guy where he gets the red marker out, you're like, this is daft.
Yeah, surely you couldn't actually, with a gun, you couldn't actually turn your hand around to actually get it. I don't know. You couldn't get it center head, could you? I don't know. Have you ever shot yourself in the
head? No, I reckon I only do it once. something you do once and never again.
It's like I went to the dentist the other day and had all my teeth out. Never again. That's an old Tommy Cooper joke, by the way.
But yeah, once again, like the trickle kill you, it was the more sensible plot, but they're just all ridiculous.
Yeah.
So you can't really get invested. You can keep a simple story, but you don't have to be outlandish. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what these actual comics look like.
I think when you, as well as it was the last story, by the time you get to the fourth one, you're thinking, oh my God, what's coming next? So you're actually on a downer before you start.
But
I think if it could have been a good sketch, it could have been, I liked this sketch mainly, like I said, because of the voodoo bit. It was a good choice of voodoo rather than have the pins in the doll.
Yeah,
like they did with Beyond.
And the simple premise, you feel wrong, so you go out, but the whole thing of what you do comes back to you if you're unjustified, sort of thing. It's it's a simple premise of the story, but just the execution of it.
Yeah,
like they made the three antagonists like laughable. Like they made them a joke.
Yeah.
And I think if they had left out the safe bit ruined it.
Yeah.
Because they could have just had his portrait up. And just the fact that it was there, we knew what was going to happen, so they could have cut out the safe bit because he would have already been suffocating.
Yeah.
The way back, it was...
they were working above and dropped the paint stripper on the safe.
Yeah, and the whole setup for the dropping of the paints, that should have just been a quick, oops, not the pushing at the edge, pushing it. Like, we know what's coming. Wise up.
It was more like a Omen sketch, wasn't it? Where they, like the one with the knives and everything like that. It was sort of elongated into something.
It's like, yes, we know what's coming.
The Omen got away with it, but
once again, these should have been, if they were comedy, they should have been comedy. The problem is they're trying to still frighten people, as in make it a horror, and it doesn't work.
No.
Then we get to the finale.
Yeah.
And they left the door open.
Bit disappointing, I thought, the finale. And I think it built up as much as it could. And then suddenly, the bar's gone and, the door opens and they're in a graveyard. And then that guy tries to be Peter Cushing and says, "Oh, we've got to do this every night." And
that's what you needed. That you definitely needed if not Peter Cushing himself, you needed somebody to be the thread holding us together. And I think that's maybe why
Peter Cushing would have gone, "Goodbye, gentlemen. See you all tomorrow."
Yep.
or something along those lines, isn't he? Yeah, it definitely needed some star quality to make it work.
Yeah, and but the whole the fact that these stories turned out to be true, when considering how ridiculous they were, because I was okay with them being ridiculous, the fact they were dreams.
Yeah,
So I was hoping to be told something, that there were warnings or omens or something, portents.
yeah.
That would have been fine. But the fact that, it's all true, you're like, no, no way. That's like,
Yeah.
um,
So if he did have a sister, even though on the first one,
yeah,
he says no, I haven't got a sister.
and he
Well,
did do it,
he did because he'd done it.
and there
So
are vampires,
yeah, yeah. I don't
which
think
would have
so.
killed him anyway. So it wasn't his actions
No.
directly related to.
Yeah, and yeah,
Harold, or what do you call it, Arthur. He was just shouting at his wife because she's destroying, coming in like a wrecking ball. But he
yeah.
didn't do it. You know what I mean? If they'd even talked to each other, they knew what they were getting into. So once again, makes no
But surely
sense.
she killed him.
Yeah,
So surely
for
he
being
would.
neat and tidy.
Yeah. So surely, yeah. But he wouldn't have been the one to be in the.
Yeah, it would have been her.
She killed him. It was her.
So it made no sense.
No. Mad. Hmm.
The rest, even even Tom Baker's character, drawn and quartered, like
Hmm.
just the setup. If they had it been a bit more egregious or actual fraud, but just the fact that they bought something off him at a low price and he sold it at a low price
Hmm.
and felt cheated,
Yeah.
suppose maybe that's the thing. But then if they hadn't had this scene where they laughed at him,
Yeah. Yeah.
it would have, it would have put it back on him again, overreacting.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the fact that they had them comical laughing at him, just that it just didn't know, he was
I
then justified in what he was doing because the don't know, it's a hard one.
I
Just
mean,
badly put
two
together.
things would happen in this day and age. You'd either put it down to experience, wouldn't you? And think,
Mm-hmm.
and or you'd go to the courts and say, you know. But then, what could you do? It's general law of, buy and sell, isn't it?
Nobody dictates what you sell a price for. You
No,
set your own value, and if you sell yourself cheap, well, guess what? That's what happens.
yeah. I,
If you overprice yourself, you overprice yourself. It's that.
I actually had someone selling my books. It was a bookshop for higher than what I was selling them. It was one of my books, and it was something like I was selling it for £7.99, and they had it on for £17 and a penny or something like that. It was. I thought, who's going to buy it at £17 and a penny? It was one of these sites like Abe. It wasn't Abe Books, but that sort of setup.
Yeah,
That sell them on, yeah.
I
Books.
remember my first book coming in. It was all right. Like it barely been published, and already there was like the first day of it being published. In fact, it was today, 3 years ago.
Hmm.
And already like it just hit the publishing market. And all right, new and used and available at this price. And like, what the hell?
Yeah,
So what are they doing? Are they just getting the orders and then reordering and redirecting
yeah,
or something?
yeah.
Weird.
It is, isn't it? But yeah, it's that sort of thing. But, I don't understand it. But
No. But all in
so
all,
the end was a bit weird and not thought of because the person who was wrongdoing, apart from him shouting at her and saying, oh, you've got to stop tidying up, more or less. She never done anything wrong until she hit him with the hammer, and he never done anything seriously wrong. But she hit him with a hammer, so she should have been in the room.
yeah.
So yeah, a bit
Yeah,
strange.
just the whole thing. Believe it or not, if this was made today, it would make sense.
Yeah.
Because it would be the patriarchy, this is one of them sort of ones. It would, all men bad sort of thing. Today it would make sense if they made this, because it would just be full of message. Back then, it kind of got that sort of thing, but it's weird. It's
Mm.
a weird collection, and the comedy didn't land. The basic plot and things, like you say, just not even sitting together
And it
properly.
never had anything linking the 5 stories,
Yeah,
did it?
no through thread, nothing linking them together.
No.
Why these 5 individuals in particular? So was their whole lives of working in the same building a fantasy?
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't be working in the same building in real life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's their fantasy then? Are they waking up from their own place and traveling through London to get to this building?
Yeah.
How does it repeat?
It was filmed, wasn't it, in the Millbank Tower?
Yeah, their initial scene,
Yeah. So yeah.
but it's just the whole thing. It was just a bit of a convoluted mess.
Yeah. Yeah. Not. It just didn't, like we said, didn't make sense, and it didn't gel together as an anthology, not at all.
And this is why anthologies get a bad rap.
Yeah. And I would have watched each one as a, like a I don't know, a 10-minute thing on ITV, under some
That's what I
horror.
was thinking, like Tales of the Unexpected or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
This would have been like Tales of the Unexpected,
Yeah.
and I don't get it being an Amicus film, and I don't know if because it didn't get any information, so I don't think it was released in the cinema.
No. But do you remember I said some films stick in your mind, and or some sketches? If you remember how I described From Beyond the Grave to you, I said, "Oh,
Yeah,
there's this film about a man with a mirror, and there's a ghoul in the mirror, and it stuck up there." Unfortunately, I didn't know the title until I searched for it. But the sketch stuck in my mind. Well, none of these sketches are going to stick in my mind.
no, it was the same. Hammer House of Horror. What was it? The Carpathian Eagle.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the one where the girl gets possessed by like a Victorian noble or something who's a serial killer and stuff. It's
Yeah.
and this guy's been hunting for this killer, and then he falls in love with her, and then falls into the same trap. Remember
Yeah.
that one? Like, there's ones that do just.
Yeah. And the one I remember, I think it was Tales from might have been no, it was Creepshow. Is the creature that they caught and shoved under the stairs? Remember that? And
Oh right, no, it wasn't above them, was it?
It was Creepshow, wasn't it? Creepshow 2, I think.
Yeah.
But I remember
I
that.
always remember the lake. The lake one in that the kids go swimming and there's tar things in the lake.
Oh yeah, yeah. And the other one is the one with the bugs. The guy hates bugs, and suddenly there's millions of bugs come in his apartment, and also the guy who gets buried in the sand, and the tide comes in, and he just sits there. There's a TV in front of him. He just sits there laughing. Yeah, all those stick in my mind, but these, come the end of the week,
It'll be gone because they make no logical sense.
no.
And when things don't make logical sense, your brain kind of goes, "Nah, not doing it."
That's right.
So there you go. That was that. That was a thing we watched. It seemed like a good idea,
Yeah, yeah,
but hopefully the rest aren't turn out to be better. Because if From Beyond the Grave turned out to be the best of one of these,
yeah.
and these have all been failures, the journey won't make any sense.
No, did they get better in peak with From Beyond the Grave? Because if they did, From Beyond
The Grave is the last one.
it's awful. Yeah, but this one was nothing
But
like.
then if they were that bad, they wouldn't have got renewed.
Oh no.
I guess we're going to find out because I think we're going to do. Is it Amnesia next? Like 3 came out the same year. This is one. There's 3 in 1973. So there's Amnesia and there's another one.
Which film company?
Asylum, sorry. Asylum and The House of Drip Blood.
Yeah.
Oh, Tales from the Crypt. Sorry, they'd actually done Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
So we've got to go back. The next ones was Asylum and Tales from the Crypt came out in the same year.
Right.
So we'll be doing one of those two, I believe.
Yeah. I'm looking at it here. They also did The Skull, 1965, The Psychopath, 1966, Scream and Scream Again, 1970, I Monster, 1971, and now the
Yeah,
Scream
but
is...
aren't we looking at the anthology films though? Is that
No,
the
no.
part of this series?
This is just horror films.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They did quite a lot of horror films, but the anthology ones were obviously the ones that we're going to look at. But
Yeah, we'll look at them first, and then we'll maybe cherry.
they are quite, yeah. They say, oh, the Amicus is horror films and thriller films were sometimes mistaken for Hammer Film Productions.
Well, it makes sense because it's the same sort of. It's the same music and the same look and aesthetic.
Be funny to see if they actually use the same composers or same, conductors and everything, musical writers as Hammer Films, because
I would imagine so, because like Hollywood, it's the same. You know, it's a little bubble of the same people. The nepotism, in the entertainment industry is ridiculous.
Yeah. But I think it deserves. Being nice here, probably 4 out of 10, maybe three. For me.
I'll have forgotten this. By the time I watch my next movie, I'll have forgotten this.
Yeah. It's not one to stick on your mind, is it?
No, it's not. It's just a.
Where's Chris tonight?
It's a Wednesday night, 9:00, sort of something comes on TV.
Yeah. He's probably thinking, "Damn, that Steve was saying about Star Wars last time, not coming on his show again."
This will fix his wagon. We'll watch this. I'll chase him off. Absolutely terrible movie.
Yeah.
Nah, it's all good. Chris is in Disneyland at the moment, and I'm just like, why would you do that to yourself?
I can't say a lot because I went there.
Nah, been theme parks.
Um,
Can't just queuing up, being around people all the time, just trudging around the place, and not very exciting. Just no interest.
Yeah, I've been there once. We did both Disneyland and Universal Studios. Yeah. I probably wouldn't go back. It's once you've done it, you've done it.
Yeah, I don't get people to go there all the time and get year tickets and stuff.
Yeah. You'd soon get fed up with it. I mean, the firework displays are out of this world, it's just the cost of everything. You're talking of $20 just for a burger. Drink.
You hate that because when you feel like you're being actively ripped off, you don't enjoy yourself.
And they charge you for parking.
Mm-hmm.
That's $20 a day, park your car when they've already charged you $100 for 3 days to go in the theme park, or $200.
Nah, like I said, no interest. I don't do even conventions and stuff. I've just no interest in it. It's just too
quite funny because we went on voucher, and we got this thing you could do canoeing on the lake for it was cheap price anyway. So we thought one morning we go like canoeing, and I went back canoed over to the guy who was organising it, and I says, "There's movement over there." I says, "Something in the water." He says, "Oh," he says, "well, if you see an alligator," he says, "let me know." I says, "There are alligators in this freaking, or crocodiles in this lake." "Oh yeah." I'm there canoeing around. I says, this bloody thing could have my canoe faster than that. He says, well, yeah, this is Florida. He says, we've got alligators in Florida. Yeah, I soon got out of there, I tell you.
I watch a lot of wildlife shows and I love it, and plus if you one of the things, if they're opportunistic, so if you happen to pass by them, they'll take a swipe at you, but they don't actively hunt you.
Right.
The whole thing with alligators is the weight. So if you go past them, they'll take a lunge.
Yeah.
But they can
Yeah.
go a year or something without food. They're not well designed.
Yeah. That was another film you ought to look at. Is that one I was watching the other day that I was texting you about?
You described it to me, and I'm like, nah.
It's really awful. You think that Vault of Horror was terrible, but this was just like, oh no, there's a shark there. There's a shark there. Let's go in the water.
Oh yeah, there's some daft movies out there, but that's all part of it's the lottery. You stick one of these on, you don't know what you're going to get. It's either going to be gold or just shit. There's no real.
Some people will think a film's fantastic, and other people will think, oh God, that's terrible. So if you were to watch this swim, you could think, oh, what was Steve thinking about this? It's absolutely brilliant. And I'd say, Colin,
get a grip.
Terrible.
Thing is, right? I watched the Toxic Avenger again recently.
Yeah.
And that film's daft as hell, but I loved it because it's self-aware and it just embraces the madness.
Yeah.
Sharknado, I love though. They're just
I love
films. Yeah, but you know what I mean? They are just stupidity on film. And things like that I will love.
I told you about we used to have crap film night when I lived in Cardiff.
Yeah, you're saying aye.
And Sharknado was one of those that we used to watch. We deemed it crap film night, but it was one that actually everybody loved because, like you said, it was so silly. But
self-aware, purposely silly, not trying to be anything.
Yeah.
The problem with this is when it's trying to be something, and it just falls flat, takes itself seriously.
Yeah, and the actors aren't. They're B actors.
No.
Sort of out of work jobbers.
Yeah,
apart from, of course, Daniel Elliott and Tom Baker. The others you wouldn't think of knowing.
No, but then that's okay. Well, there you go. There's that one. Obviously, links in the description if you want to check it out, folks. Did you absolutely love this? Let us know, because it'd be interesting to hear your reasoning behind it.
Don't waste your time, folks. All right, don't waste your time.
We watch it so you don't have to. It's a public service. But there you go, folks. If you have anything coming up?
Me?
Yep.
I've got my book coming out in January. It's called The Mist on the Mountain. It's based in the Garrow Valley, where I now live. It's sort of getting out the genre that I normally do. I normally do horror thrillers, and this is going to be more of a. It's not a ghost story, but the sort of suggestion is there that it's a ghost, and that's causing the problems. But I'm not going to go too deeply into it because the secret is top secret in the valley. But the good thing about it is, I'm actually using real people in the story, because I actually put on Facebook if anybody wants to be included in this book. Put yourselves forward, and a couple of them I've got there. What they do in life for real. I've got a guy who's a ex-para, and I'm actually using the ex-para bit where where he sacrifices someone who they think is the child killer, in the way he does it with his ballistic knife and everything. So it's all coming across, but it's going to be slightly different to what I normally do. So slightly, not much. There's death, there's murder, and there's terrible deaths. It's quite graphic. So, but yeah, Mist on the Mountain, sort of due out very end of January, I would say.
And obviously, we'll keep forward when that comes up.
If you want to look at my past stuff, it's www.stephensamuelknight.co.uk.
Yep, and of course, links in the description and all that good stuff. So, folks, just leaves to say, come up with the channel, do the typey clicky things. Until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.
Bye, bye.